I've got a couple of weird jobs today, so I was thinking this morning what we'd do, and I thought we'd go through some of the oddball things that I've got. Do have some slides prepared. This has actually become one of my favorite things to do these days, so hopefully we can enjoy talking about this. This is the one thing that nobody ever really likes, or unless you've already done it before, people don't really get enthusiastic about electronics. I think there's some unknown about it, about guitar electronics. I feel like the skill level is medium. I feel like right now I've got a really good grasp of guitar electronics, what's going on inside guitars. I can pretty much just wire anything without having a wiring diagram or anything. I can do bass preamps. I can pretty much figure out anything, but that's just come with time. And also, I started off by looking through lots of wiring diagrams and lots of trial and error and stuff, lots of logical thinking. And I got to a point where now I feel very comfortable with it. So it's a good place to be. We'll go ahead and start off with the tools. Hopefully this takes me to the website. There's a good book out there. It's underneath my coffee table. Complete Guitar Wiring, Jerry Hayes. Got a ton of wiring diagrams in there. If you like paper books, it's a little bit on the expensive side. Honestly, I really liked it whenever I first opened it, and then I haven't picked it up since, but that doesn't mean that you guys shouldn't buy it. There's tons of great examples, and he talks you through all kind of wiring and everything. And it could be a go-to book for your first couple of months doing.
I've got the exact book.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's a good book. I want to say the guy's from Ireland. I could be wrong about that.
He's from Ireland.
Is he? Yeah, I thought so. The wire that I just go to the most these days is this cloth covered wire. Inside guitars, you're going to use 22 gauge wire. You don't need to use anything thicker than that. Thicker won't even, it's not going to work very well. Like 20 gauge wire, be a little too thick to maneuver through the cavity and all that. So 22 is what you want to get. I buy this Art of Tone stuff. It looks like it actually went down in price, maybe. You get three different colors. It's really all you need. If you want to get different, even more different colors than that, you can go to this website called Amplified Parts. And they have all different wire colors and stuff. You can get purple and orange, different stuff. I might experiment. And it's not really that expensive. You just have to cover shipping and stuff. Soldering station, I'm still using this guy. Oh, they've changed it. Okay. Maybe I'll have to buy one of these, but this looks pretty good. It's got a stand, it's got a little sponge, it's got an on-off button. It looks cool, and it's only 40 bucks. I'll add it to cart. It's a little different than mine, but I think it's basically the same thing. This must be the evolution of the one that I have, but just having that on-off button there and having a stand for it, it's really nice to have. I started off with just the wand, like you just plug it in and it's on and that's it. Started off with one of those, but I went through it really fast and I could see the advantages of having something a little bit bigger. I still use this solder. I buy this exact stuff, the 0.8 millimeter. It just melts like butter. I'm going to use some of it tonight. Same brand, everything. Multimeter, oh yeah, this is the simple one. This is the one I recommend getting. You can do everything inside of a guitar that you want to. Not quite everything inside of an amp, but it has your ohms right there, and then it also has continuity. It's all you need. It's super simple. You can check 9-volt batteries with it. I do that all the time. That's definitely my favorite multimeter, and I've had it for a couple of years. Switchcraft output jacks. The simpler the better on multimeters. It's already confusing, like all the different times 20, 200, all that stuff. Simpler better. Switchcraft jacks. I think I buy these 10 at a time, but this is a good price. These are about $3 each. I guess they've gone up a little bit, but that's still a good price. You can get 6 if you want. Switchcraft works fine. There's also those pure tone jacks. I find that Switchcraft are just as good and they're a little bit less expensive, and people are just as happy to have a Switchcraft jack. Deoxit spray is just the magic spray. It fixes so many different things. If I run out, I buy more. Absolutely. I like to bend the nozzle a little bit, which you can just bend the plastic. You don't have to heat it up or anything, you just bend it. But yeah, that stuff it'll make anything work, man. It's just unbelievable. Whenever you get into changing out potentiometers, if you have a broken part, we'll talk about that a little bit tonight, then you need to source a suitable replacement. And you got to look at the potentiometer, figure out, is it like one from overseas with a small shaft, or is it an American one with a 10 millimeter shaft? Is it 500K? Is it 250K? We talk about this quite a bit. Is it a Telecaster style potentiometer with the solid shaft, or is it a Strat style potentiometer that has the split shaft right there? Because the knobs on a Strat work a little better on that. So it's always for me anyway, it's like a specific, the potentiometers and stuff are always specific to that particular instrument. These Epiphone potentiometers, they're a little narrower. The shaft right here, it's like an 8 millimeter shaft instead of it is, what does it say? I don't know if it says it right there. But anyway, it's a little narrower, and sometimes the holes that are routed in the body of the guitar, most of the time, the holes that are routed for the potentiometers are narrow as well. So if you switch out an 8 millimeter with a 10 millimeter, you're going to end up routing out the holes on the body just a little bit. And I've done that many times. But if you don't have to route anything out, that would be better than routing things. You could ask your customer, like on an Epiphone, if they want to upgrade to full-size pots. I should have thought about that tonight, but we'll talk about it now. That's a very popular upgrade. People will take their Epiphones and they'll go from they'll have a cheaper like potentiometer, and they'll go for a better CTS potentiometer with better capacitors, and then a Switchcraft output jack or a pure tone output jack. They'll replace that whole cavity, and that'll be a terrific upgrade, especially if they do the pickups as well. And in that situation, whenever they take that Epiphone to the next level, you usually have to route the holes. And I do it with a ream, the holes. I do it with my reamer. It literally takes 2 seconds, but it does have to be done for that upgrade. Gibson Les Paul stuff, usually use like the nicer, these are CTS or like Borns or Alpha pots, or even buy like Emerson pots. You can buy Gibson, you can buy real Gibson pots that say Gibson on the back of them. If I were to have a broken like Gibson Les Paul standard, or really any Gibson, and I'm looking at the existing electronics, if they say Gibson on the back of the pot, I go to the Gibson website and I'd buy the Gibson potentiometers to replace it with, just so that it all stays kosher. It's all perfect. Sometimes they'll have Gibson, sometimes they won't. But anyway, that's how I like to do that. Just match up the parts as exact as you can get them. And I even included some European and some Canadian and Australian shops. I think you guys got some pretty good stuff over there too. I'm always willing to help anyone doing electronics. I've had Ted. You guys remember Ted? He may be on here tonight. He's having some electronic problems. I don't know what it is. I think it's like a potentiometer and a base or something. But
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
Just a question. Okay, you were talking about the upgrades on the pots and the output jack and probably even the five-way switch. But what about the wiring? The quality of wire, is that going to
That being said, I use the existing wire that comes with whatever guitar 99% of the time. So because there's going to be existing wire there, then I'll usually, if there's something wrong with that wire, then I'll clean it up and I'll just resolder it. Or I'll use the same wire that came with the guitar to make any sort of repairs to that guitar.
if you're going to do it?
Inside of a guitar, I find that one upgrade that really you can notice the difference is the capacitors. But I'm not sure if I would have to really do a A/B test with pots and stuff. I don't know. I think that I could notice if the difference between 1 meg pots and 500K pots, or if a two, like if you swapped out a 250 for a 500, you can notice that difference. But if you swap out a 250 for another 250,
Probably not.
yeah, a really trained ear. So maybe there's some YouTube videos on it. Okay. All right. Electronics begin with problems or upgrades. This usually problems are like output jacks, pickups not working. I got a couple problems here. I can't see what I wrote on the other side. Switches not working, or usually a battery with an acoustic guitar. It's almost always. Upgrades are like full-size pots, pickups, output jacks, wiring harnesses like what you had, acoustic pickup systems, bass preamp systems. A lot of people are looking to spend $100 or $200 on an upgrade, and it's an upgrade that will last forever. And it'll give them peace of mind that they've got the best stuff inside their guitar. And it really will sound, after you improve everything, it's going to sound a little bit better. And you can really feel like you're that much closer to Jimmy Page whenever you buy that Jimmy Page Les Paul wiring harness with the nice paper and oil capacitors, and it does sound different. And you combine that with some Seth Lovers or something like that, and it's primo connection. Some common circumstances for me, output jacks are crackling or bad. There's a grounding issue or a hum with their guitar. A lot of guitars just come in, the guy's, man, it's humming, you got to fix it. Pickup swaps are big here. People do their own research. They buy these, they watch YouTube videos or whatever. They buy the pickups, they bring them over here to me because they don't know how to do soldering or they don't have time. Electronic upgrades, like we were just talking about, we just saw that. Or there's also parts failures, which I've got a couple of those tonight. Output jacks, they just wear out. Buy Switchcraft jacks, keep some around. You can charge between 35 and 65 bucks. I charge 55. And then sometimes you can upsell if you find the guitars on the bench and you're like, oh, this jack sucks. Go ahead and text the customer and say, hey, you need a new one. It's not going to cost that much. Go ahead and get it done. I've even, to make it sting a little bit less with some customers, if I know they're on a budget, or I think very strongly they're on a budget, I might bundle the output jack with a setup and give them like a $10 discount or something. And it really takes about 5 minutes to do it. You make an extra 40 or 50 bucks, and it helps out your transactions a lot. Pickup swaps, guitars are going to either have 1, 2, 3 pickups most of the time. There could be some oddballs out there. I charge 50 for 1, 90 for 2, 100 for 3. Usually after you've got it open and you've done 2 pickups, doing 3 pickups is not that bad. Swapping out pickups just wire for wire is very easy and it's very quick. Although you do have to loosen up the strings on the guitar, maybe restring the guitar, something like that. You do need to charge. That's why I charge a good bit, because you're going to have to loosen the strings, take the pickguard off or something like that. So it takes a little bit of time, but it's really easy and straightforward. One of the biggest problems that you could have is just the wire colors on the pickups. You have to make sure before you get into this, the very first thing you check is that you've got your wire colors right for that particular brand of pickups, because they change. Diagnosing something broken with guitars is really easy. Honestly, it's not that bad. Deoxit is your absolute best friend. Check for cold solders. With solders, they get rusty. If you have some oxidation or like some red looking rust stuff on a solder, you can go back over it with your soldering iron or clean it a little bit. That'll help out. If you heat up your soldering iron and you go back over these little joints, sometimes all the electronics will just wake back up. So one of the pickups wasn't working. You just follow the wire to the switch or to the volume pot, go back, heat that wire up a little bit, refresh the cold solder, and that and deoxit will just about fix anything. Always check your battery for an active guitar or an acoustic guitar. Always check for loose ground. So you want to look for the black wires that are inside the cavity and the black wire going to the output jack. Check to see if anything is loose. If you can visually identify anything that's come undone or come loose or something, and then you can go check for cold solders. Go and resolder your grounds, and that usually fixes everything. If cold solders, deoxit, if that's not fixing everything, check to see if your pickups are working and you find the signal at the source, which is at the pickup. So you want to check the lead wire, the ground wire, make sure that the pickup is working. Check, then the pickups are either going to go, the signal is going to go to a switch or it's going to go to a potentiometer. So you want to see if it goes into that component and then goes out of that component. If it goes into the switch, it needs to also come out of the switch, and then it'll go to the volume pot after that, or vice versa. So you look for where it goes into the switch and then where it's supposed to come out. You measure its resistance, and then it should stay pretty much the same throughout its journey. But you will notice, or you can notice, as your signal goes through different components, that it can degrade just a little bit. And that's why some people also trim their wires too. They'll cut all their wires as short as they need to be, so that the signal doesn't have to travel. It doesn't have to go through excess resistance as it goes through. Easy fixes, cold solders and cleaning. I talked about that. If there's lots of buzz in a guitar, one of the first things I'm going to do is check continuity with the bridge and the other components, the other electronic components like the pots. Sometimes it could just be that there's no bridge ground wire, or the bridge ground wire there has lost its connection. That happened with a Les Paul the other day, which was really weird. The guitar was just buzzing to all hell and back. It's a Les Paul standard, and it's only like 10 years old. It's beautiful. It hasn't even been played that much. But what happened was that wire that goes to the bridge studs on a Les Paul, the stud fit in there so tightly that the wire was sheared over time, because the guy said it just started buzzing. But that stud had never been taken out before. I was the first person that actually took it out. And then I added new wire, put it in there and make sure everything was touching, and then there was no more buzz. The bridge, the strings have to be grounded. So the bridge has to be grounded. Every metal part, the tuners are also grounded. Every metal part on the guitar is always grounded. Switches, if they don't work after cleaning them, then just get rid of them. They're easy enough to find. They cost about $12. I think I'm usually buying like Fender 5-way switches or something like that. That's a common one that goes out. But lots of times, just with cleaning, they'll all come back to life. Even those old 25-year-old Ibanez switches, they work fine after you clean them. Potentiometers, if they don't work after cleaning, change them. If they remain scratchy, like if you've hit them like 4 big sprays of deoxit and moved them around a lot and they're still scratchy, they're probably broken or something on the inside. It can just happen. Sometimes if they don't turn all the way off, but you know that third lug is grounded, it is, but they still don't turn all the way off, then something's broken inside the potentiometer. Staying in front of your customers, you'll get these emails before a person does pickup swaps and stuff usually, and they start talking about what they're going to do. I'm going to put blah 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 into blah blah blah. Can you do this? And stay in front of them, make sure that they haven't gone nuts or something. Sometimes I'll look at the model of guitar, make sure the pickups that they're getting are going to work okay. They haven't gone, like humbuckers with covers or not. Humbuckers with covers don't always fit into the same holes with the humbuckers without covers. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but especially with pick guards, those ones you buy on Amazon or really almost anywhere, you got to specify whether that it's going to be an uncovered or a covered pickup. An uncovered pickup will fit into a hole for a covered pickup, but a covered pickup will not fit into a hole for an uncovered pickup because it's just slightly too big. So you have to worry about little things like that. Or if they're going to throw active pickups into a passive guitar, you got to say, hey, there's a couple more things that you need to worry about here. So sometimes you do have to guide the customers, but usually I just let the customers go, do their thing. There's some pickups that Strat pickups won't work in a telly neck most of the time, unless the telly neck routing has been done correctly. So it's a couple oddball things that you got to keep an eye on. Pick guards, I myself don't modify them. If a hole needs to be edged out just a little bit, like if it needs a millimeter, I've got to route it a little bit. I'll do it with a file or maybe sandpaper or something like that. But as far as like customer wants a Stratocaster pickup with 3 single coils, he wants me to install a humbucker in the bridge, and he wants me to not only install the humbucker, but route the pickguard as well. No, not going to do that. You're going to buy the right pickguard, and I'll just put the new pickguard on there. But I'm not going to route your pickguard. I'm not set up for that. I'm just not going to do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it either unless you want to get into pickguards and stuff. You could probably make some money with it, but I'm not sure how many people would ask for it. And a new pickguard is not that much anyway. And it's going to look a lot more professional than if it's routed imprecisely. So if you do it and you're not really precise, but I just tell people get the right pickguard. Routing stuff, do it at your own risk. I'm happy to show you all the equipment that I have. It's not very hard, but you do need a professional router and templates like the plexiglass templates that you work with. And then the router I've got is like a Bosch, I forgot, like a Colt or something, and it's pretty good. It's like $100, $120 or something like that. You got to have the right technique and stuff. We've done some on the live sessions. I think it was last semester or maybe the semester before that. But I'm open to it. If customer wants it, I'll do it. If they want me to do a humbucker or something like that, I'm fine with it. One guy wanted me to take his Flying V and turn it into a Floyd Rose guitar. And I told him no. I didn't actually think that the block of the Floyd Rose would fit in the Flying V. Kids will ask you a lot, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you like basically route my guitar, do some plastic surgery on my stuff? And they want you to tell them, yes, I'll do it. And it'll be really cheap, but they usually can't afford it. So you do get questions. I get questions all the time from kids in high school, and they want to paint guitars. They want to do all sorts of crazy modifications. And I just say, no, I don't do it. Hollow bodies, you can definitely charge more, and I would encourage charging more, at least $40 to each thing that you do. You can buy, as far as cleaning pots and cleaning switches, you can buy that over-the-top pot cleaner. I would suggest that. I think I've got that in the list. Sometimes I'll get desperate and I'll just spray deoxit over the top of a pot. It'll be in the hollow body and everything, and I'll just spray it over and then start moving the pot and it'll leak down in there. I definitely do switches like that, especially those toggle switches. You can clean those from up above. If you toggle them and then spray them, it'll get in there and it'll clean them for sure. So that works. That works very well. Hollow bodies, for me, they aren't that frequent. Fishman pickups, you see the Fishman Fluence active pickups. They're definitely, to install those, it's definitely in the 120 range or more because you have to do a complete rewire. You've got to add new pots, push pull. So it's more than just the pickups. It's like a whole system. It's not hard to do, but there's a bunch of point-to-point wiring. You have to do the push pulls and stuff for the different voices of the pickups. So you definitely want to charge extra for that. It's not very hard. They do have great instructions, and I love the Fishman pickups. I'm always happy to do that for somebody. It's just expensive. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Trust me.
I was glad to hear that anyway.
And if you need help, reach out.
All right, cool. Thank you.
EMG pickups are even easier. They really make it simple. The only problem with EMGs is they got these big, thick wires that the holes that are going through the guitar have to be really wide to handle these wires. That's the only thing. But other than that, they're really just plug and play. A lot of customers will ask for recommendations. What kind of pickups do you recommend for an upgrade or something? You really can't go wrong like recommending Seymour Duncan's. They almost always sound good, especially like their nicer ones and the Antiquities or the Seth Lovers. But just the regular JB and the 59, those are all great pickups. They're not that expensive, and your customers will be happy. I guarantee it. I also like Lawler. They're a boutique type brand. Bare Knuckles. I like Rocket Fires. There's DeMarzio. I mean, there's a million different boutique, really nice pickup makers out there. You can go down the rabbit hole with it. But, Seymour Duncan, it's easy for them to go to the website and look up some pickups based on the music that they play. They can have a good shopping experience. What I charge, just a fixed wire, like a fixed ground wire or something, that's tacked on a setup. So if I'm doing a setup already and all I got to do is just maybe fix a little wire, I usually don't charge anything. A fixed wire with no setup, like the guitar comes with a problem, I've got to open it up, fix it, usually like $40. Replaced part, it's going to be the cost of the part plus $40 or $50 regardless of the setup or not. So if I'm doing a setup, one of the pots goes down, I'll order the pot, or I'll have one here. I'll charge them reimbursement for the actual part, and then I'll charge them $40 or $50 to install that part. And if it's more than one part, they may get a discount on it, but maybe not. For 1, 2, and 3 pickups, I charge 50 for one, 90 for two, and 100 for three. My reasoning on that is like you've already, with one pickup, you've already got the pick guard out, you've got the strings loosened, you got all that stuff going on. So it's a lot easier to do the second pickup and the third pickup. So just the initial, like getting everything out and ready, that's packed into the $50 fee. Like a full rewire, I usually do $120 plus the cost of parts. If they bring me all the parts, then I charge $120. So just to install all their stuff. If they were to bring me some, like you've got a really nice wiring harness right there, and it's not going to be that hard to install. If it's really just plug and play, then I might give them a break on that. Okay, so I got a couple things going on. I've got a switch here that really threw me for a loop. And I hope that I left the other switch connected, to be honest with you. Let me go get this guitar. This guy only wanted me to fix the switch. I thought that I would just be able to deoxit it, and I wasn't. It was broken. Let me get you some better angle. How do you switch a guitar with 3 pickups and a toggle switch? I'll show you. I've never actually seen a switch like this. I spent like 30 minutes shopping for it. Oh, I'm glad I left it wired up. So I'm just gonna copy it. But so we've got 3 lugs here on the top, and then we've got 4 lugs on the bottom, so that you can choose both a bridge pickup, a neck pickup, or a middle pickup. I don't know how this thing works. I'm sure I can look at it and figure it out, but one of my wires I disconnected, so I'm gonna have to go with this and look at it and do the exact same thing. So here's the problem is, let me show you guys. So if I do it like this, it clicks together and stays clicked. I can make it better for you guys. Stays clicked. But if I go the other way, clicks, and then it goes back a little bit. And it goes back. That right there disconnects that pickup. Just that little bit of sway. That right there. Works perfect. That stays in place. This, you see how it goes back? So anyway, I tried everything that I could, bending stuff. It would not come back to life. The guy said it's been like that for a minute. You want to protect your guitar. Make sure that no metal is touching the finish. So be careful with it. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this bad boy. I ordered the replacement part. I went down the rabbit hole as far as trying to find a new one, and I couldn't find it anywhere else but Fender. So I had to buy this Fender part. It was a $38 switch, and I had to wait like a week for it. And then let's hope I got the right one. There was no Switchcraft, anything available. There was no other brand available that was like this. So let's see if this works a little better. Yep. It's a lot better. We got a soldering iron on 4.5. I'll try to work this out with my soldering iron. It might not work. This pickguard is metal, and all the pickups have this metal cover on it, right? And so none of the ground wires of any of the pickups are actually like grounded. They're all just metal. They're all on this metal pickguard, which is one big ground. I went ahead and cleaned this wire up. It's a stranded wire. With stranded wire, you definitely need to tin it up and make sure that all the strands are together. Make a hook here. And I'm going to make the yellow part, the insulated part of the wire, that's going to face the inside to keep it insulated. So hopefully it doesn't connect to anything else. And then this is going to happen pretty quick, but I'm just going to heat up both pieces of metal, the piece of wire, and then the lug from the switch. Heat them up together, add solder, and you want to make sure both of them are hot at the same time, or else solder won't stick. Test it. This feels good. I might go over it and make it a little bit better. I hope I get this right. I think this yellow one might go over there. It'll be the bridge pickup. Trim it up. You don't want any long tails. This wire is coming from the neck pickup. And then this one down here is the middle pickup. Rubber wire is annoying. It keeps like melting and stuff. Jump a wire. I think I'm going to use some of this push-pull stuff. My old jumper wire here. The switch itself doesn't have a ground wire coming from it. It's just grounded to the pickguard. A little bit odd.
I think it was
Okay. Should be it. Whoa, how tall it is. Not my favorite switch of all time, that's for sure. Okay, let's see if this baby works. Ugh. Oh, I got them switched. Huh. Okay, so I had it wrong. The yellow wire went on the other way. I had it right the first time. So I just got to switch that thing. Cool. Perfect. Done. We'll put it back together now. We got one more project to do. Okay. No, we got one more thing to do. I'm going to go ahead and put this away. Come back to it tomorrow. This, which is a travel guitar, and fortunately, this is the second time I've seen it in the past 3 months or so. The first time it came in with a problem, and it had the pickup wasn't making any noise, and the guy wanted me to fix it. So I got in, and I found that it just like I needed to refresh the solders basically, and that was it. Then it worked again, but it wasn't too much longer. Like within 3 months or so, the guys come back and he says it didn't work at all. It did take me a minute to diagnose this. I knew this is pretty inexpensive, so I got on Amazon looking for something appropriate. It looks like it's going to be a tele bridge, but it's not. It only has 2 holes on each side, so it's not like a tele bridge. It threw me off for a second. I was able to find this guy for 30 bucks. And the only difference, and the guy approved it, the customer, is it has silver blades and this has black blades to it. I just took this out of the box, so we'll see if it actually works. They've got the red and the white wire together already. That would be your split coil wire. They've got the green and bare together, so I'm guessing that's the ground. Since it's connected to the bare, it's got to be the ground. And since the red and the white, since they're connected together, I'm guessing the black is the lead wire. So I'm going to test the lead wire and the ground and see if this gives me a signal. Put my multimeter on the ohm signal, which is like the horseshoe, 9.57. So that's pretty good. It's going to be a pretty hot pickup. If I were to test the red and the white and the ground, I bet you I would get about half of that. 4.77. Yeah, that's like exactly half, right? Or almost exactly half. So the red and the white wire represent half of this pickup. Just one of these coils. That's what the red and white wire is. Since the red and white is connected together and it's not sent to ground, that means the entire pickup is working. So those coils, the red and the white coils, are connected together. The entire pickup's working. If I were to take the red and the white wire and send it to ground, if I were to disconnect those and send it to ground, only half of this pickup would work. And that's what would be a split coil effect. So you just take half of the pickup, the red and the white wire, and send it to ground. Bam. So you've only got half of the pickup working, and then you've got a single coil. For this, I don't have any way to switch it from single to regular. So it's just going to always be a full pickup. I want to go ahead and hide these red and white wires out of the way. So we'll just take the red and white wire, do it like that. Keep it out of the way. Now this black is going to have to go to, that's the bridge wire. I don't know where the output jack is. Where's the output jack? Okay, so I'm going to mount this thing. Not sure if I've got the right screw for that. I'll have to look around. Here. I think I'm missing the back piece of this. I'll have to, that goes like that. It goes upside down, kind of. The bridge, it has a bridge ground, and it has to also, the pickup ground and the bridge ground both go to the ground on the output jack. Get out of the way. Oh my God, I gotta trim that wire, right? No way it's gonna, I've seen that coming. Sometimes with the thin pickup wires, you've got any sort of fingernail, you can just pull them off. These guys are following Seymour Duncan's lead, which is green and bare are ground. Black is hot, red and white are the split coils. DiMarzio does it slightly different. So they're all stranded wires. You have to twist them at the end, and I've got to tin them and solder them all together. Okay, should be getting some sound. Okay, see if we get a sound. Oh yeah. Perfect. Done. I'm gonna put this thing back together. Any questions? Practice guitar is pretty inexpensive. It took me a while to diagnose this pickup. Like I took it apart. I refused to think that the pickup was broken. I thought that I would just maybe wired it wrong or something. I promise you, I did not think it was broken. So I tried everything else and it was broken. Okay. All right. Any questions, guys? Electronics?
I was just gonna ask that last thing, when you put it together, you said you put the bridge ground wire with the output jack.
Yeah.
Ground?
It has
Would it
no
have made
point.
it,
No,
would it have made a difference if you would have put it on a pot?
there's no pot. Yeah, there's
Oh,
no pot. So it's either on or off. The pickup is just
Okay.
wide open.